See, kings and queens, when you do it with the 3 loops, this is how long it is. Hey, kings and queens, so this is what I'm working with now. I'm working with these 4 schemes here. And this scheme, these are 2 schemes I did earlier this year. This was my first one. I know I'll get better, you know, the more I do it or whatever, I get a lot better. So this, kings and queens, when I completed it, it looked like maybe the size of a small blanket for a baby, like, you know, to throw over the baby. So that's going to be, I'm going to keep that and give that away as like for somebody who has a baby, or if they just want a shawl, or they just want to keep warm and wrap it around them some kind of way. So I'm going to keep that. But with these schemes to start off, I'm not going to need a full 2 for the scarves. You'll see shortly. These are all going to be made out of scarves of some sort, just to start off for now. Okay, kings and queens, you only need your scissors just to cut off the item that's wrapped around it, the little piece of yarn, and that doesn't come in all schemes. You don't even need your scissors for the end. You can use it if you choose. All you need is yarn and your fingers. So basically what I'm doing here, I'm just finding the area where I'm going to, sorry about the freezing. I'm just finding the area where I'm going to start it off at. Okay, it's very simple to start it off. As you see, that little edge right there, all you're going to do is make a loop. Just a loop. Kind of like the breast cancer symbol. Real simple. You just flip it back. Bada boom, bada bing. Really, really simple. And then you're going to pull it up, leave a little hanging, and loop it up and knot it. Just like so. Just like that. Very, very simple. Okay, step 2, you're going to take your starter loop, and all you're going to do is use your working yarn. The working yarn is all the yarn that's behind that you're going to keep pulling with. And whatever hand you use, I'm right-handed, so I continuously pull the working yarn through the loop before it. And that's how you start it off, no matter what size you're using, whether you're making a blanket, a scarf, a glove, whatever. You just start it off just like that. And then you see me counting, because this particular white one is going to have 4 holes, meaning 4 loops. So you'll see when I count it is 1, 2, 3, and it should be 4. And that's my starter. That's step 2. That's it. Okay, now that I have my 4 loops, I'm just getting my working yarn where it's going to be really easy to pull. Now this next step is so relaxing, and you're going to do this step almost to the end. It is just so cathartic, relaxing. You can even get your kids in here to do it. It's so simple. The next part is going to be the easiest part. So basically you just want to continue working with the working yarn. The hand you barely use should just be docile with this next step. All you doing, you're going to use that loop, the very last loop you did, and you're going to turn it upright. So you see that little loop I have there sticking out? All I'm doing is just making sure it's as tight as I want it. So all I'm doing is taking that loop and I'm pulling the working yarn through. And you're going to do that until you get to the end of your loop. See, 1. Really, really simple. I made it really, really small right there. Now this is the next day. I wanted to show you all better. You can see it better. This is only 3 loops. As you can see, all I'm doing is I'm pulling the working yarn through each loop. Just pull it through each loop. Then you gather some more yarn. You do the same thing again. Pull it through each loop. Pull it through each loop. Pull it through each loop. Repeat the step until all of the skein run out. Again, pull it through each loop. We're going to speed this part up so you can see how easy it is. Pull it through each loop, 1. Pull it through each loop, that's 2. Pull it through each loop, that's 3. How are y'all doing, kings and queens? I love y'all. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe. And let's get to creating. So the next step, after you get all of your loops, you want to leave a little of your working yarn out. I was just showing the other scheme. If you guys want to add more colors, you do the same thing. You just take the starter piece and you just add to it, just like you did in the beginning, but you don't need a starter piece. You're just going to add to adding the loops. Now, you want to finish it. This part here is just a little different. All you do, you make sure you have all your loops out. As you know, with this one, I use 4. So I'm just gathering them together. Again, only working with the working yarn there. I'm going to loop them together. So I take that piece right there and I pull in. I'm trying to find an angle to make sure I got it. You're going to gather them together, basically pulling each one with the other one in. I had to remember myself. There you are. Pull it in. See how I'm gathering them, you all? And then I'm going to grab the next one. In this case, it's 4 of them. Pulling that one together. Then I have one last one to pull together. I pulled it together. Now, as you can see, it's a finish. That's how you know you have the finish in. Okay? It's a finish in. Then you're gonna make sure you make it so it won't come loose. Now you can do this several different ways. I've learned from a couple people a few ways. I looked on YouTube a few ways. I'ma just show you what worked for me. Just real simple. I just took the long end and I went back and forth and I tied it. Just like you making a knot in a shoe. That was the simplest way for me. And it's also good for kids. If the kids want to do it, it's just an easy way. I used to teach little kids, just make it where it's just real simple for them. Or you could do it however you want to, long as that end do not unravel. What I chose to do is tuck it underneath. A lot of people tuck theirs underneath too. So after I tied to make sure it's not going anywhere, I tuck it underneath. It looks better with the blue one. You'll see that shortly. So let me show you how the blue one looks at the end. And you can cut off that excess. If you don't have scissors, you just keep going in and out and tucking it in. So I'm just showing you all right here with 4 loops. This is the length it'll be. The more loops you make, the wider it will be. The less loops you make, the longer it would be. This is just to give you all an idea. So this is 12 loops and 2 skeins. So that's about the size of a baby blanket. This white one is the 5 loops and 1 skein, like a small scarf or shawl. This one is 3 loops, 1 skein. So this is a long scarf where you can actually close it and it covers up your neck. See how long that goes? Just 3 different ways. See, kings and queens, when you do it with the 3 loops, this is how long it is. This is a nice length. And then you can even cross it over and keep your neck warm as well. That's with the 3 loops.